Were you surprised by the reaction, the fallout, all of it?
I am still surprised that like it's still like a major, like it's in Time, like it's in like the New York Times, like it was in the New York Times like last week.
Really, still going?
Some article came out from like Apple News last night.
Oh, so you quote tweet that?
That was the only time I've ever responded was last night at like 1:40 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck these people, dude. And then as soon as
hats off to you for having the control,
dude. As soon as I responded, I was like, "Fuck!" Like, I was just sitting in my room, like, "Oh fuck, they're gonna find other quotes immediately."
Dude, I did that like a couple of weeks ago. We were like getting in an argument about cancel culture. Us in this other podcast is the Minahan Show, and
oh yeah, by the way, those guys, I do support them.
Yeah, they.
Like,
so
I feel bad that I did this first. Don't
worry.
Cutting that out,
yeah.
obviously.
No, they went to bat. So we got into it with them because we were basically like, that didn't surprise me. Like you were about to start a job at Channel 4 NBC network, and they found some shit. You saying some pretty off color stuff. That I feel like that's going to happen 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
And we are kind of the school of thought. We've been doing this a long time, so like all of us have. But we've been making edgy off-color jokes and kind of getting in trouble for it. And like you're not canceled if it's the whole cancel culture thing spiraled out of control the other direction in my mind. So we were kind of saying like it makes sense that NBC was like, listen, I don't know, we can't do that. And maybe there's more to the story that I don't know.
No.
But on the surface, it looked like they were going to hire a guy. There's some things that don't fly for a network channel. And so those are kind of the consequences. Whereas the Minahan Show, they will champion anybody at all times, no matter what the flaw is. So I understand, liking them, having your back.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I mean, that's why I never really complained. Like, while I was getting fired, like while I was getting hired, I was like, "Are you guys fucking sure?"
Yeah. Like I would never even like apply.
I didn't apply.
How does that even?
I did not apply.
How does that work?
They saw me at JFL. And Comedy Central's Up Next, and they liked me, and so then they were like, my agents at the time were very like tied into SNL, like they had a lot of SNL people on their roster, so they were like friends with everybody there, and they were like, we can get you like, here's a writer's packet to fill out for SNL. If you don't know what that is, it's like
definitely not.
It's like a job application basically for one of these shows. Like they send you a stack of papers that's like write like 5 sketches with the current cast in these sketches. So like I don't know the fucking current cast.
You're the only guy I know.
I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
and so I just didn't do it. I was like, I'm not gonna ever get SNL. I don't want SNL. I don't care about that. I came here to do stand-up.
That's like the urban legend, like I didn't write anything on my college application. I just turned it in blank.
This is what a risk is.
For real.
Yeah, this is guts.
Yeah, and then they saw me do stand-up a couple of times, and they were like, we just come in and audition. So I came right in to audition, which is like main stage in front of Lorne Michaels, in front of all the writers and shit, on the stage. Like I did stand-up on that stage. And again, the whole time I was there, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking get this.
Yeah.
Like I was in the green room.
Are you telling like clean jokes and like
no?
You're doing your shit.
First off,
right?
I told them. Yeah, I did a joke about like, I got on. I was like, Trump's funnier than almost everyone here. But it'd be funny if he got shot. Like it was a long. I wasn't like, hey, I'm a Republican, motherfuckers. But I was like, they are still pretty gay. Like a lot of the shit they're doing is like, I mean, they cried when Hillary lost.
That was crazy.
You're supposed to be calm.
When Kate McKinnon sung Hallelujah, and I mean, I was like, this is
brutal.
fucking outer space, man. We are in another galaxy right now.
When I did my callback, which is where you come back in and like meet all the writers and shit, I was like, look, if I'm Cass, if Trump loses, please let me sing Hallelujah and cry as the cold open, please. But no, the whole time I was going through the audition, like, there's no way I'm going to be on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Like, never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought, like, I'll be on Saturday Night Live.
Out of, like, reverence or just, like, not a right fit? Like, is SNL still, like, I can't believe I'm going to be on the SNL cast?
All right. For sure, I can't believe it. But also, like, I just knew I wasn't the right. I didn't think I was the right fit for it.
Yeah.
I never liked improv people.
Yeah.
It's just like
I mean,
weird,
even in this 2-minute conversation already, I feel like it didn't seem like a natural fit.
No, but they've maybe they're trying to swing back to when they used to have.
They could use you, by the way. Yeah,
when they used to have comics on.
Right. I was thinking that we were kind of talking about it beforehand, where I was almost like likening SNL to comics now as like college for people, where it's like
Yeah.
the really successful people just didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was like I went in
need
for
to
a
anymore.
year. Maybe I worked in the writers' room for a year. I was like, this fucking sucks. I'm out
Yeah.
of here. And like I don't know, have an extensive enough knowledge about that to like really say it, but in my gut, I'm like, I feel like all like the big comics were like,
Probably ebbs and flows, right?
Well,
Maybe it'll
it's
be
not
back
that they
at the
didn't
top
want to
or-
do that. They all definitely would have done it.
But like I was
Like,
just reading one on
100%.
Mulaney, and I think he was in the
Yeah.
New York or something like that, and he's like, I did it for a year and I fucking hated it. I hated it.
Oh,
right
really?
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he wrote when he was like young.
Yeah, I think he was very young.
Yeah, and I think the writers' room there can be. I don't know anything about it. Like I wasn't there.
Yeah.
like I know just about as much as anybody.
Yeah.
I think it can be like pretty shitty as far as like just a bunch of like
yeah.
Ivy League kids. that
Right.
are-
And you
rich,
talk about
competitive
competitive
cunts.
and
Yeah.
cutthroat and shit like that. They'll probably step on your fucking mother's neck,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, I think this is like the best thing that's ever happened to you, no?
No, bro, no. No, it is funny to have people say that shit.
Yeah.
Like, this probably helped you, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, dude, no.
Like, there is such thing as
Come
bad
on,
publicity.
at least it helped you with like having friends in New York. Like people don't hate you anymore, right? Because you're not gonna be the successful one.
Oh.
It's like, all right,
Everybody loves you again.
True.
You won an award, bro. Come on.
Yeah, true. No, now it's like once you get like a green light publicly for people to shit on you, every single person on earth.
Oh, yeah, man,
will
we
shit
know
on
that.
you.
yeah, is that
Yeah,
true?
Preach
yeah.
to the choir, bro.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that vibe, but you know, if you could go back, you know, you wouldn't want to do it again. Would you?
I think I would do it again. I mean, it's a pretty big learning experience, and I'm still gonna do stand up regardless.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you know, when I say do it again, meaning like the SNL process or the podcast jokes or you know whatever.
the podcast
what,
jokes.
What would you have changed if you could change anything?
I couldn't change the podcast. I love the podcast. It's
Yeah.
a fun podcast, so
Right.
I would have to keep that. And also, I was doing it. You know, it's pretty easy to like say wild shit on a podcast when you're an open micer in Philadelphia, who feels like I don't know when you're not getting opportunities, you get real fucking jealous and bitter and fucking angry. Like I'd go every day. I'd get on that podcast and be like, fucking Broad City is fucking gay. Like every day, dude. Every day I was just saying shit like that. And then I moved to New York and immediately started getting opportunities. And I was just like, oh, maybe I was a little jumping the gun there on the white guys aren't getting opportunities. My bad. But no, I always loved the podcast. Did it yesterday. Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. Dude.
yeah, go. Give it a look.
Do you
Then
think
the
they
SNL
knew?
audition, I would have done that too. I have to do that too.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I could have said no to that.
Do you think they knew what they were getting into and they just did not what they were getting into? You know what I fucking mean?
Yeah.
And then like they didn't care until everyone else
It's all in
cared.
public, yeah.
I don't know.
If they saw you
maybe.
do stand up and you were
They
telling
saw my
jokes about the
stand-up.
audition, I would imagine they couldn't have been shocked to find out there was some off color shit on the podcast.
I don't know. It was interesting because during
I would love to be a fly on the wall
I
for
know
this whole process.
it was pretty funny. Like when the NBC like publicist called me. So Lorne Michaels called me on 9/11.
Jesus
He called me on September 11th and was like, "Hey, we like you. We're gonna go straight to cast." And I was like, "Damn!" So that's when it becomes cool as fuck. Where you like in your head you start.
Yeah, 9/11, man. Awesome.
9/11,
Cool as shit.
Second best 9/11 in my life. But that's when it got like real weird and surreal. Like I thought about like in the beginning my name being like Shane Gill,
Yeah,
the fucking
yeah,
SNL,
definitely.
the black and white like.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
fucking
With the
intro.
yeah.
And I think you can put your friends in that, which would have been. I was like calling my
Really?
friends from home. I was like, "Yo, come to the bar with me for this."
Yeah.
And then the NBC publicist called after him and was like, "Hey, we're gonna announce tomorrow." So I only had 24 hours.
Jesus Christ.
And they were like, "They're gonna do a deep dive on you. Like, are you ready?" And I was like, "I never really post jokes on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. I'll just
Who's gonna
delete.
listen to the
I'll just
podcast?
delete my Facebook right now."
Yep.
Because I wasn't using it anyway, and who knows what the fuck I had on there from 2006.
Dude,
Right,
I was
like,
Get rid of the blackface.
yeah. And then they were like, anything else? And I was like, I have a podcast that like, I say like gay and retard on. And they were like, all right. And I was like, I never said the N-word. I never said the N-word.
I can guarantee you that.
I think we'll be all right. And then literally 4 hours later, I was like, oh, shit.
That's
the
crazy.
C word
that,
got
like,
me.
That's crazy that they just like you told them you had a podcast like after they'd hired you.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that like
Well, they don't
probably-
hire comics. They hire improv
Actors
people
and-
and
yeah,
actors.
yeah,
But
yeah.
even if
they
you're
don't
like
have
during a
podcasts.
hiring process, you'd think they'd throw you a Google.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their fault. This is fucking their fault.
Yeah,
dude.
If you
true.
Google
should
Shane
sue
Gillis, I'm
them.
sure your podcast comes up, right? Like the HR at NBC wasn't like, let's just check them out.
You know what I bet it was? I bet they were like, all right, let's do this. And then they look at like the catalog of the library and they're like, this is a lot. I don't know. It's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
this is
probably
1,000 hours
That's-
from.
Who's
yeah.
we only got 24 hours. Fuck it. It's physically impossible. So it would be good.